Hi, so we're going to teach you how to do a simple cover today at home. If you have a DSLR, it's good, but even if you have a phone, that is also fine. So if you have a DSLR, make sure your exposure and your rolling shutter is set correctly. So if you don't know what the rolling shutter and the 180-degree rule is, it's basically your shutter speed should be twice as much as your frames per second that you're shooting. I chose 50 frames per second because it's a bit too light here for my low aperture. I'm using the Canon 50mm Nifty 50 1.8f, and you can either use it on manual focus, or if your camera has auto face tracking, you can use that. I recommend using a stabilization device or the camera strap. You can strap it around your neck and push it out so you can get some stability. I'm going to slow it down anyway, so I'm going to just shoot on handheld. And also, find your native ISO and use that. If you're shooting from your phone, you can use the same settings on your Pro mode, or if you don't have a Pro mode, you might be able to find an application on the Play Store or the App Store. If you don't have any lights, the best time to shoot is either the evening or in the morning, where the golden hour is. Even if you have lights, first thing to do is find your frame. Then, according to that, you can set up your lights or reflectors. If you're going to shoot handheld like me, make sure you bend your knees and walk like this. And hold your camera as tight as you can. It's always better to have good depth of field, and one way to achieve the parallax effect is having a foreground object. This is just a leaf, and you just have it here, and see when I pan or do a slider motion, ta-da! If the person you're shooting is too dark or is in shadows, you can use a reflector or a any white board or white cloth. This is with the reflector, and this is without the reflector. Without. Let's say it's in the night or in the evening and you need to shoot your video indoors, and you say everybody has one of these now these days. The first thing you have to do is turn off all the lights in your house. That way we can control the light wherever we want it and however we want it. It's always best to have the light a little bit above your head level. A little bit more. Oh, enough. And tilt it a bit down. Don't do that. You should use your ball head adjustment and then do it. Okay. Alright. Lights come usually with the holder in the middle. That is because that's how people use the ring light, to get shadows. So to get zero shadows, you light it right from the camera angle, then you get zero shadows. But it's a very flattering look, very flat look. If you want to get dramatic, you have to set your light aside and get your look. So when it comes to lighting, your major light source is known as the key light. Can you turn here? So this is called a far side key, because this side is the nearest to the camera, this side of the model, and this side is the far side. So we call this a far side key. A far side key gives you the most dramatic look. And if you have your light right next to your camera, we call it a near side key, because the near side of a face is lit up. and the other side dark. If we have the light right next to her, you call it a split lighting because only half of her face is lit. So I've used the window behind her as a practical light where you can see the light coming through, and it's really nice because that's why I used it. So we have the key lights set up. Now I find her near side is to be a bit too dark, so we're going to use this reflector card to bounce off a little bit of light to compensate the darkness. This is with the bouncer card, this is without. About camera angles, if you take it from above, it will appear that her head is bigger than her body. If you take it from below, the other way around. This is used in storytelling. If you want to make the character more powerful, you take it from an angle from below. If you want to be looking down at your character, you take it from above. If there are no any other assisters or any stands, you can use your household equipment to hold them into places. Technique is when you're taking the close-ups, you can actually cramp in the lightings and the diffusers, everything, so you can get better lighting with your subject. Another cool trick you can use is a negative fill. Negative fill is a black cloth or a black fill like this. If your house is white and bouncy, which bounces light, now luckily this doesn't bounce much light, but you can use a negative fill to get even more darker contrast. The way to make your footage look natural is to have motivated lighting. Motivated lighting basically means if you have a natural lighting source on set, you just supplement that natural lighting with your artificial lighting.